Good afternoon, everyone. Come to you today with another recipe. Put this down so you can see my pan. Hi. Oh, there's Vanita. This is a 4-ingredient peanut butter fudge. What I have in my pan, they called for 2 cups of refined sugar. Well, being that we don't use refined sugar, I made it cane sugar, and there's a 1/2 cup of milk. And what I have to do is I have to get this to boiling, and once it's boiling, I have to time it for 2.5 minutes, then take it off the stove, which I've got my rack right here, and then I've got to add my peanut butter and vanilla. And as it cools, it will set up. So I'm going to keep stirring this. So I don't want to burn it because it's. Hi, good to see you. Welcome to everybody coming on. I'm going to go ahead and myself, and I'm going to share this out because I find if I share it out, I end up getting a lot more viewers out of it than if I don't. Okay, let me see. It's hard for me to get there. There we go. Wait a minute. No, that's not. There, I hit the wrong thing. There we go. I'm going to share it out for myself now too, and so I'm gonna share it out, and I'm also going to put it on Twitter. I share it out myself, and I'm hitting the share button. So, hi Deb, good to see you. Welcome, and thank you to my moderators for coming on and being here. There was another type of fudge I was going to do, but the thing of that is that takes an hour to set up in the freezer, and I didn't want to wait that long. So hi, good to see you. So I thought I'd do this, and it would be simpler, and it'll be a lot easier, and it'll set up real fast. As it cools down, it sets up, and you can cut into it then. It's similar to what the fudge I made before. The trick to this, though, is from what I understand, once you get it in, once you get everything done in your pan, you got to work pretty fast and get it out of your pan because it'll set up in your pan. You might not want to eat it out of your pan. So I've got my pan all greased, my 8x8 pan. I've got my peanut butter ready, and I've got my teaspoon of organic vanilla, non-alcoholic vanilla, ready to go. This is going to take a little time, several minutes probably, for this to boil. But once it starts boiling, then I'll set the timer on my microwave, and then I have to do it for 2.5 minutes. Why they want you to do it for 2.5 minutes, I have no idea. But it's starting to get real thick on the sides of my pan. But that's okay. It's gonna do that. Welcome to everybody coming in, and thank you for sharing this out. That's why I shared it out too. And I'm trying to raise my viewership up if I can, and try to get more people interested in coming in here. But good to see everybody on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing out. Thank you for the hearts, because I love every bit of them. I've got over 4 million hearts. Hi. Good to see you, Gary. Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for inviting your followers. That is lovely. I really love that when you invite your followers. Thank you for doing so. As you can see, I'm just going to keep stirring this, and it's eventually going to get boiling. Refined sugar is not the best to use, so that's why I use cane sugar, pure cane sugar. It's a lot better. However, you want to use it in moderation too. You don't want to make a habit of using it. But once I make this peanut butter fudge, I probably won't make it again for a while. But and the peanut butter I've got has got a little bit of sugar in it too. It's because I'm using a Skippy natural. So but just don't use your refined sugars. If you can get by without refined sugars, use your cane sugar, use coconut sugar, or whatever you can to make it a little bit better, because that's better than using your refined sugar. Now this is going to getting close to boiling, but it's not there yet. I've just got to keep stirring, and when it comes to boil, then like I said, I'll set the timer, and I'll just keep stirring it, and take it off the stove, and then I put it on my thing, and then you'll watch me with a peanut butter net on there. This is a unique peanut butter fudge. I looked all morning for a fudge that I wanted to make. I said yesterday I was going to make peanut butter fudge. This is the one I originally had planned to do, but then I had found others too. But the others take a little more work, and then you have to wait for them to set up in the refrigerator or set up in the freezer, And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get this made and it's set up so that you can see it. Vanita just, I saw your text message, Vanita, and I'll give you the ingredients. The ingredients I've got, it calls for 2 cups of refined sugar, but since I don't use refined sugar, I use 2 cups of pure cane sugar. You got a 1/2 cup of milk. Now, I don't use regular milk. I used unsweetened almond milk. I put this on the stove and let this come to a boil, and you got to boil it for 2.5 minutes once it starts boiling. Then you take it off the heat. Then it's 1 cup of peanut butter, either smooth or chunky, your preference, whatever you want, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and that's all it takes. 4 ingredients. How simple is that? But I will post this up on my Facebook page, and once it gets done. Yes, it is. It's very, very easy. It's very, very easy. As you can see, I think this is getting close to starting to boil. Yes, it is. And I have to boil this for 2.5 minutes. So let me set this up on my microwave for 2.5 minutes. Okay, there we go. So I just keep stirring this. I don't know why they say 2.5 minutes, but that's what they want. That's what they're going to get. Welcome to everybody coming in. Teacher of the Word, welcome. I appreciate all the followers I'm getting in here. All the hearts. Each heart is, means so much to me. And like I said, I've got over 4 million hearts. That's really wonderful, And I've got something like, I think 7,000 left to go on the super hearts. But I don't ask for those. I figure I'll get them when people are ready to give them to me. So I will not ask for those. If you choose to give them, fine. If you don't, I'm okay with it. Because I got, hi, good to see you. Welcome. So it's whatever you choose to do, I'm going to put this on lower heat, I think. So I don't, it doesn't boil too fast. There we go. It'll keep on boiling, but I'll turn it down. It's already, got about 1.5 minutes to go. But you can see it's keep on. Oh, you mean those pumpkin, they're still, the pumpkin pie rolls. Yes, they're still in the refrigerator. I had one on Friday. They're actually very good, and I'm doing exactly what they said. I'm leaving them uncovered in the back of my refrigerator, and I'm going to let the coconut sugar harden on, which it has. I have never had peanut butter fudge. I've had chocolate peanut butter fudge, but I've never had peanut butter fudge itself. So that's why I'm doing this, because I want to do something a little bit different. I love peanut butter. Anything with peanut butter, I love it. As you can see, this is boiling a good clip. Oh, you're very tempted to make them? Oh, you can go right ahead and make them, because make them, your own, and share the recipe out. If you make them with your family and friends, they might like them too. See, this is boiling really well, and I'm going to take this off the heat as soon as it gets done for 2.5 minutes. I got 29 seconds to go yet, and now I'll take it off the heat and I'll set it on my. And then I got to work fast with the peanut butter, because this is going to start hardening up in my pan. I've got the peanut butter over here already measured out in my measuring cup, and I also got the vanilla, so I can get that done. One thing they say you have to be careful with this: do not splash it up on your skin, because they said it hurts very, very bad if you get it up on your skin. Which I hope I'm not gonna. I've got a big enough pan that I don't have to worry about that. Let me go ahead and shut this off. Okay, now I'm gonna take this and turn this off. Sit this down here. Okay, I'll put myself up just a little bit so you can see me a little bit better. There we go. All right. Hi, Alexis. Now I'm going to put the peanut butter in here. Alexis, you can make this yourself. You could make this. This is very simple to make. I'm going to get all the peanut butter out of here. And if you don't know, this is a Pampered Chef pan. Does not, you can't ruin it. Nothing sticks to it. You can even put metal in it, which I have. Okay. I'll put this up here. Now I'm going to put my vanilla in there. There. Now, I'm going to stir this all up together. You got to be very, very careful when you stir it that you don't splash it up on yourself. And like they say, you got to work fast because this will start setting up in your pan. You don't want this setting up in your pan. You want to put it in a baking dish. And it'll set up pretty fast. So I'm going to keep stirring this to kind of get any lumps that might be in it. And then I'll pour it in my pan because I've already got it greased and ready to go. And it's going to be setting up while I'm standing here, and you'll be able to watch me cut it. That's a good thing. You'll be able to watch me cut into it. And I'm going to leave this cooking or this cooling rack here since when I put the pan on, so it doesn't ruin the countertop or the mat. Okay. See, now that's all done. Now let me grab over here my pan. It's an 8x8 pan, baking dish. You got to work fast to get it out of your pan so it doesn't start setting up. This smells real good, I'll tell you. It smells really good. And thank you for the advice on sharing my scopes out, Alexis. I seem to be getting a lot more replay viewers by doing it that way. So that's what I've done. I'm starting to share it out on Facebook and on Twitter and other ones that do the same. See what's starting to do in my pan? I'm going to get my, spread this around. It's starting to set up already. And I'm going to spread it around. Then I'm going to use a spatula. Kind of smooth it out a little bit. And it'll sit here and it'll harden up. And then I can cut into it. They say to kind of tap it a little bit to kind of get the air bubbles out. If there's any air bubbles at all. Okay. As it starts cooling, this will thicken up. And that's what we want. We want it to thicken up. It's actually, as you can see, look at my spatula. It's starting to thicken up on the spatula. It's hot though. But it's starting to thicken up on my spatula. So there you go. That's what it looks like. And then you can cut into it. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. I'll take this and it's all, so you can see it on top, how it's starting to set up already? It sets up very, very fast. And that's an easy recipe to make. And I know anybody will be wanting to make this. And as soon as it cools down enough, it's too hot right now. It cools enough, I'm going to cut into it. And you can see what it looks like being cut into. What are the ingredients? Okay. Very simple ingredients. It calls for 2 cups of refined sugar. But since I don't use refined sugar, I use 2 cups of cane sugar, a half a cup of milk. Now, they use regular milk. I used unsweetened almond milk. You take that on the stove and you cook it. Get it boiling, and you got to boil it for 2.5 minutes. Once it's done boiling for 2.5 minutes, take it off your stove and stir in your 1 cup of peanut butter and your teaspoon of your vanilla. Stir that in there and make it real smooth. Put it into your baking dish, your 8x8 baking dish. You've got to work fast because you can see this is trying to set up already. As you can see, like bring it closer. It's trying to set up already. So it won't take very long, and then I can cut into it and show you what they are. Hi, Ann. Good to see you. And cut them into squares. So it sets up quite quickly. But it's going to be very good, I'm sure. Really good. Simple recipe. And like Alexa says, the simpler the better. I mean, 4 ingredients. You can't go wrong, you know. Oh, I do too. I love peanut butter. I love anything with peanut butter, you know. And I know there might be some people. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. There may be some people that may not be able to eat peanut butter because they got an allergy. I don't know what you can substitute for it. I really don't know. Maybe you can make almond butter fudge or, you know, oh, you can't have peanuts? Oh, man. That's what I'm saying. If you can't have peanuts and you have an allergy to it, you would have to use some other kind of nut butter, like maybe almond butter or something else or cashew butter probably. Yeah, you could probably use cashew butter, any other butter that would work to make it. Because I do realize there are some people that are allergic to to peanuts, peanut butter and peanuts. No, I don't. Well, you have to make an adjustment. I'm not allergic to peanut butter. That's why I'm making this. I know there's some, like I said, I know there are people on here that probably are. Most people aren't, but you will find a few that are allergic. So they have to be very careful. And I know that if you eat peanuts, you break out, get real sick. I don't want you to do that. So don't make these if you have that allergy. You'll have to make a different fudge or skip it all together because I don't want you getting sick. But as you can see, look at this. See how it's starting to set up already? I'm not going to cut into it yet because it's still a little warm. But it's already starting to set up. It's looking real, it's going to be real good. Oh, they use sun butter. I didn't know that they would be allergic to cashew butter too. Well, that's something new. I did not. But fortunately for me, I'm not allergic to peanut butter. I was allergic to chocolate when I was a little girl. I don't think I am so much now, but I don't eat it anyway. But oh, thank you. Yeah, it is a good idea, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, it is. It is done. This will set up just sitting out here and cooling down. The cooler it gets, the harder it gets, and I'll be able to cut into it. How have I been vegan? I've been doing great. I've lost over 50 pounds. I'm sticking to it. It wasn't easy at first, but I told myself I was going to keep going, and I've been able to keep going. You know, you have to be persistent at it. You got to tell yourself you can do it. You know, and Alexis can make this. She can use her refined sugar, whatever she wants to use, any sugar she wants to use, she can use it. Make it her regular milk, because this is simple enough for anybody to make. It's things you'd have in your cupboard, in your refrigerator. You know, people that drink milk, they can use this. But since I don't drink milk, I drink almond milk. I have unsweetened almond milk. I keep that in my refrigerator for my recipe, so I just use that, half a cup of that, because they said you can do that for dairy. You can also use coconut milk as well. I don't have any coconut milk. I've got almond milk, so that's what I used. You know, you have to make do with what you have, because I wasn't about to go to the store and make a special trip, and I got to go this week anyway. So I wanted to make do with what I have. That's what we all have to do. I'm glad you're all talking amongst yourself, and I can see that a lot of people are in here, and I really appreciate this. You know, oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying so. You know, I try real hard, and I try to help people out as much as I can, because I know not everybody is going to think the way I think. They're not going to eat the way I eat. I tell them, well, you can make this. And I appreciate the fact that when Alexis makes something, she tells me, well, Karen, you can make this vegan if you want to. Well, since Alexis is not vegan, she can use regular sugar. She can use regular milk and make this. No problem at all. And it'll taste just as good. You know, I'm what you say, I'm concerned for my health. But other people, what they do, you know, it's on them. I'm not going to tell them they have to eat the way I do, because not everybody will eat the same way. You know, we don't all like the same things. But I try to come in here and help people along the way. Try to see if they want to go vegan, if they want to do a little better. I'm going to try to cut into this, get me a knife and cut into this to see how they are. As you can see, look, you can cut right into it. I'm just going to cut one little corner off. Oops, took part of another one. See? Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Look. Wow. Yes, it will. This is good. Very good. It's to die for. This is something I'm going to make again. I cut into it so you can see what it does look like. Cutting into it. It's very good. Pass up to the screen. I wish I could. You know, we need taste-a-scope. We need smell-a-scope. We need just about anything we can, don't we? Oh, you know something, Alexis? It probably would. And you know something? You could do that as a recipe on one of your on one of your scopes. You could do that. That is a good idea. You know, it's limitless to what you can do with it. I just happen to make the bars or fudge because that's what it called for. But see, it looks so good. I mean, it's going to get harder as time goes on. It's not real hard yet because it still has to cool off a little bit more. But once it starts cooling, you can cut right into it. And it's really good. Oh, thank you for the super hearts. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. A simple recipe. 4 ingredients. I always say the simpler the better. 4 ingredients. You can't go wrong. And anybody can make this. You don't have to be vegan to make it. I will put it into my Facebook group. That part. I will put it into my, oh my goodness, some more super hearts. Thank you so much. I sure appreciate that. Thank you. Hi, welcome. Look at my fudge, my peanut butter fudge. I already had a piece of it. Doesn't that look good? This is the kind of fudge that once you make it, you put it in your dish, and as it starts cooling, it sets up, and it'll get harder. And I would probably suggest maybe putting it in the refrigerator when you decide to cut it up, put it in a dish, put it in the refrigerator. It probably would keep a lot better, unless you have it in an airtight container. Then nothing's going to happen to it. But doesn't this look good? I am glad I came in here and made these because they look so good. I mean, and it's healthy. It's real healthy. However, I'm going to be careful how much I eat a day. I'm not going to, splurge or anything. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad that you do. That's why I come in here. I know that people would appreciate me sharing it out. Yeah, I did, Alexis. I shared it out myself. I shared it out to Facebook and Twitter. Yes, I did. If anybody else wants to share it out, that would be amazing. Invite followers, that's amazing. Because I see I've got 26 in here right now. I don't know what the total count is, but I'm probably going up. But I'm so thankful when you come in here and you share this out because it helps me. Oh, thank you, Alexis, for putting a plug in to join my vegan group because I do post things like this under my vegan group. And I'm also going to post it on your page too, Alexis. Not right away, but I'll post it in there if you accept it. And welcome to Periscope for the very first time. I'm making something that a lot of people like. Peanut butter. Like I said, if you've got an allergic reaction to it and you can't have peanut butter, then you can't make this. Yes, right. That's what it is, Alexis. Okay. I most definitely will. Okay. It calls for 2 cups of sugar, refined sugar. But since I'm a vegan, I use cane sugar. Then it also calls for half a cup of milk. Well, I used almond milk. You put that on the stove, you cook them 2 together, get it boiling, and once it starts boiling, you time it for 2.5 minutes and keep stirring it so it doesn't burn on the bottom. And then once that 2.5 minutes is done, take it off the heat, then have your peanut butter, a cup of peanut butter already measured out, and a teaspoon of vanilla, and stir that into your mixture that you took off the stove. Once you get it stirred in, put it into an 8x8. You can use parchment paper if you want to, wax paper, foil, whatever. I just happen to grease it because that's what they said. It comes out real easy. I use coconut oil to grease it. Put it in an 8x8 baking dish and get it in there as fast as you can because it sets up pretty fast. The cooler it gets, the easier it sets up. As you can see, I already cut into it. It's setting up right now. It sets up very quickly, and that's all there is to it. And probably the best thing to do is cut them up and put them in the refrigerator. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. Put them in a container in the refrigerator. If you have a big family, I'm sure this isn't going to last you very long. I know it won't last. And don't eat that much, but pure cane sugar. I use pure cane sugar, but it's still good for you. It's better than refined sugar. You can use cane sugar because it's not refined. It doesn't go through the processing that your regular sugar does. You're not familiar? Oh, well, pure cane sugar. It comes from the sugar cane. Sugar cane is grown in Hawaii. It may be grown other places as well, but I know about it being grown in Hawaii because I used to live there. Oh, thank you. That's why I come in here, because I'm always finding new recipes. I've been looking all morning for a peanut butter fudge recipe. This one seemed to be the simplest one to do because it doesn't take long and it sets up in front of you. And I cut it, and you could see what it looked like when I cut it. I already ate that piece. That's why there's a piece gone in the corner, because I already ate it. I wanted to try it. It is the bomb, I'll tell you. Anything that's good like that is the bomb. I keep the recipe, and I make it again because it is so, so good. And I'm sure once you make this for your family, if your family loves peanut butter, like most families do, they're going to eat it, and they're going to want more of it. Oh, your dad grew up in Hawaii? I didn't. I didn't live there until in the 90s, or 87 is when I went to Hawaii. I went to, on the Honolulu is where we lived, out in Hawaii Kai. But they have a lot of sugarcane fields there. So, and it's supposed to be real good for you. Yes, absolutely. I'm definitely going to post it in my group. Definitely. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably cut it up into squares and post it in my group so people can see yeah, it is beautiful there. Oh, he was in Kaneohe Bay. We were in Hawaii Kai is where we were at. Karen's Vegan Heaven. If you want to join the group, just ask to be approved, and I will approve you for the group because it is a closed group. And I go in there periodically to check it to make sure if I have anybody that's wanting to have a recipe approved, or if somebody wants to join the group. I go in there quite often, several times a day. In fact, Erlene this morning had something pending, and I hadn't gone in there yet, so she messaged me and told me that she had something pending for the group and to approve it, so I did. Okay, thank you, because I have over 260 members. I'm not sure exactly right now the account, but I'm getting quite a few, 267 or something. I think that's the last I saw, but it keeps going up all the time. More people are wanting to join. It makes me happy too. It's a fun group to be in because what we do in that group is we post recipes, and people can take those recipes. They're not set in stone, however. So take a recipe and make it and try it for yourself and see if you like it. I do recipes quite often. I'm going to, like I said, this is going to go in my group, and it's definitely going to go in there. Thank you for inviting your followers and sharing this out. And thank you for the hearts and super hearts, because everything helps. I want to be a super broadcaster. I'm on my way. But, it's because of you that I come on here. I wouldn't come in here and do what I do if it weren't for you. Oh, thank you. Because it's because of you that I come in here, because you want to see new recipes. You love it when I come in here and make new recipes. And I want to do that too. I want to make new recipes. I know Alexis, she makes new things all the time. And I go in there, and I'm not on Alexis's regular scopes because she comes on way too early in the morning for me, because she's 3 hours ahead of me. So she comes on at 3:15 in the morning my time. So I don't watch her periscopes until I get up in the morning. But she understands that. But they are very good scopes, and I can take a lot of her stuff and I can make vegan if I want to. Some things I can, some things I can't. But same thing with this. I made this vegan, so I kind of made it my own. So if you're not vegan, you can make it just the regular way, because I'll post the original recipe the way it was written, and I'll tell you what I used. So you can make it yourself, because I know people are going to want to try this. It is very, very good. It's getting a lot thicker. It's getting a lot and settling up a lot better now. I can if I can find it. I have already made chocolate fudge a while back, and it was very good too. So I'm trying to follow your comments that you're putting up here. If I miss them, I'll go back and check them out. Hi, welcome. Good to see you. I've already cut into it, but here's my peanut butter fudge. It sets up as it cools. It isn't completely cool yet because it's still hot on the bottom, but I've already had a piece of it, and it's really, really good. You can cut right into it. That's how simple this recipe is. That's why I decided to make it, because the simpler, the better. It doesn't take a lot of time. You don't spend hours and hours and hours in the kitchen. You don't have to wait for it to set up in the freezer. There was one I was going to do that would have been made differently than this, but I'd have had to wait for it to set up in the freezer for an hour, and I didn't want to do that. So, and you have to put it back in the freezer. Once you take it out and start eating it, you got to put it back. So I thought, well, I'll make this one because it's a lot simpler that way. No, you can use almond butter, but I did not use almond butter. No, I'll tell you what I used. I used 2 cups of cane sugar, a half a cup of almond milk, and you cook them on the stove until it boils. Keep on stirring as long as it's boiling. You got to boil it for 2.5 minutes. Take it off your stove. Put in your cup of peanut butter and your teaspoon of vanilla, and stir them in real good and get it mixed real well. Put it in your 8x8 greased baking dish, and you got to be in a hurry because it will set up in your pan if you don't. It started setting up for me before I got it in here, and as it starts to cool, it thickens and it sets up, and you can cut it, and that's why I was able to cut it, because it's starting to cool off. It's still a little hot on the bottom yet, a little warm, but it's getting there. But I can cut it into squares, and I can put it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to put it in a container, and I'm going to post it on my Facebook page. No, no, it won't be. Absolutely not, because I don't eat that much. Yes, I grease it with coconut oil. I love coconut oil because it's real healthy for you. I've got the refined coconut, organic with coconut oil. I just take a napkin or a Scott towel, and I just run it around the sides and the bottom and grease it real well. You probably could. You could probably use coconut sugar. I don't see why not. I have that as well, but I thought I would use the cane sugar because the coconut sugar I have is trying to get a little hard in the container, so I'll have to buy some more. But I have the cane sugar, and I've got it in a container, and it's in the bag in a container closed up tight, so nothing can happen to it. You probably could, yes. I don't see why you couldn't grease it with a regular oil if you wanted to, but I like coconut oil, and it was solid. I took just a little bit on a napkin on the solid coconut oil, and I rubbed it around. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you. Welcome. Here is my peanut butter fudge. I already had a piece. That's why there's a corner out of it. It's already setting up. It starts to set up immediately when you put it in the dish. It sets up quite fast. Yeah. That's true. That's true. It is. I had one piece of it. That's why there's a piece missing out, Carrie. I had one piece of it, and it is delicious. It is absolutely delicious. I call it the bomb. It's really good. Yes, it does. Anything you make with coconut oil, you have to be sure that you refrigerate it, because with coconut oil, it does melt. I found that out in the summertime. Your solid coconut oil, when it gets hot, it gets 85, 90 degrees, I think it's over 75, it turns from a solid to a liquid. I've had that happen. But it pretty much stays a solid in the wintertime. But I took it right out of the jar in its solid state. You want a piece? I think everybody does. Like I said, we need taste-o-scope. We need smell-o-scope. We don't quite have that, but it is really, really good. I'm really pleased with it. Yes. And if you love peanut butter like I do, you're going to want to eat this. Although, like I said, there are some that cannot eat it because they have allergies to it. Well, then they're going to have to, you can make it with cashew butter, with almond butter, or whatever you want to make it with. Or any other kind of nut butter, Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? I don't know if that'll ever happen, but it's a good thought. A real good thought. I was going to, and I didn't do it this time. I was going to put chocolate chips on top. It's going to be a little hard to do it right now because it's already setting up. But yes, you could put chocolate drizzle on it. You could put chocolate chips on it, sprinkle chocolate chips on it, which I should have done before it started setting up. But it's okay. I can eat it just the way it is. It tastes delicious anyway. But you can make it your own, and you can put chocolate drizzle on if you want to. You can take chocolate chips and put on top and do it after you put it in your pan. It would be delicious. I thought about doing that before I came in here, and then I didn't do it. Then it skipped my mind. But it's okay just the way it is. Oh, good. But it's funny when I think about, this is what I'm going to do before I come in here. And then after I get in here, then I forget to do it. I didn't put the chocolate chips on here like I was thought about doing because it's already set up. As you can see, it's set up and it wouldn't do any good right now. It's, I can cut into the whole thing. But what do you need to make it? Okay. If for vegans, I don't use regular sugar. But if you're not a vegan, you use 2 cups of refined sugar, 1/2 cup of milk. Now, I used unsweetened almond milk. You cook that on the stove, get it boiling, and once it starts boiling, you keep stirring it, and you time it for 2.5 minutes. Take it off your stove after 2.5 minutes, put it on a cooling rack or whatever. Stir in your cup of peanut butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or non-alcoholic, whichever you use. Stir that up real well. Then once you get it stirred, hurry up, and you should have your pan already greased. I use coconut oil to grease this at 8 by 8. You can use wax paper or parchment paper if you want to too. Have it all finished because you don't want to take time to do that while it's sitting in your pan because it's going to start setting up in your pan and you can't get it out. You have to eat it in the pan you cooked it in. So you hurry up and do it as fast as you can. Pour it in here because it's going to start setting up within a few minutes. Mine already has, as you can see. I've got 1 piece out of it already. It's already started to set up. It's setting up even more now. It becomes real hard, and you can cut it into pieces. That's what you want to be able to do. It's very simple. 4 ingredients that we should all have in our kitchen cupboards. Peanut butter. I have peanut butter every day because I eat it on my toast. And milk. And your vanilla extract and sugar. No, it shouldn't be a problem. You're right. You're welcome. Because it's very simple to make. Just follow the instructions. I watched the video on YouTube and I watched everything they said and I saw what they did and it made it simple. It would be okay. Now, this is set up without freezing it. You can put it in the refrigerator. I would suggest either putting it in the freezer or refrigerator if you're not going to eat it right away. Put it in there and keep it in there. And, take it out in little by little and take out what you're going to use and put it back. About to make that. It wouldn't surprise me because I had the 1 piece of it and it is so freaking good. I can't believe how good it really is. But I would suggest probably keeping it in the refrigerator or freezer. It's up to you. It doesn't say that in the instructions, but I would assume that would be best to do that way. Cut it up after it gets cooled down. Cut it up, put it in a container, and put it in a freezer container or put it in the refrigerator, and then just eat it as you go. That's what I would do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. It'd be a lot better that way. But, if you could only smell it, oh, my goodness. Oh, well, good. Thank you. If you could only smell it. Man, it smells so good in this kitchen. It smells like peanut butter in here. But it's good. Because the peanut butter I'm using is natural peanut butter. It's Skippy. It's very good for it. I used to use Jif all the time, but then I stopped using that because that isn't as good for you as Skippy is. So I use Skippy, and it's a simple recipe, one that doesn't take very long to make. It didn't take very long to start boiling. I started on a little bit above medium heat. Why is what? It didn't take very long to make it, and I'm glad that I came in here and do it. I like the taste of Skippy versus Jif. I like it much better. Now, you can use Jif if you want to. Hi, Natasha. Good to see you. Welcome. You can use Jif. You can use any peanut butter you so desire. I happen to like Skippy because that's my favorite right now. I'll use that. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. I used Jif years ago, but now I like Skippy much better. I like the flavor of it much better, so that's what I use. Yes, it is. It is. Peanut butter is healthier. And you can, hi, good to see you. Welcome. If you want to. Now, I didn't have peanuts, but if you want to, I would suggest you can make your own peanut butter and use for this peanut butter fudge. That would be perfectly fine. Just take some peanuts and put it in a Vitamix or a food processor with maybe a little oil and a little salt. Make your own peanut butter and use that. You can do that as well. I didn't happen to have any peanuts, so I couldn't do that. But that would work just as well. It probably would taste just as good and probably would even taste better yet. You know, but you do what you choose to do. If you have peanut butter on your shelf, I have peanut butter all the time because I use it every day. You don't bake it. You do not bake this. You cook it over the stove. You cook your sugar and your milk over the stove. Get it boiling. And once it boils, you keep stirring it and time it for 2.5 minutes. Let it keep boiling. Time it for 2.5 minutes. Turn your stove off. Take it off the stove. Put it on a cooling rack or whatever. Stir in your 1 cup of peanut butter and your teaspoon of vanilla. Get it so it's all mixed together, and then put it in your greased 8x8 bake in your dish. As it cools, it sets up. And as you can see, I never had to bake this. This is set up. I can cut it already. I cut one piece out of it so you can see what it looked like. It sets up as it cools. So there is no temperature to baking it. That's what makes it so simple. I know a lot of people want to do this because you don't have to heat your kitchen up with your oven or anything, you know. And you can, after you get done with it, you can, like I said, put it in a container, cut them up into pieces, put it in a container, and put it in the refrigerator, put it in your freezer, or whatever you choose to do with it. I'm sure it would freeze very well. Yes, 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, yes. Oh, thank you for the super hearts. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes. You got to, no, you only boil the sugar and the milk on the stove. That's all you boil on the stove. Make sure, you don't boil with the peanut butter and the vanilla in it. Just the milk and the sugar to start with. You boil it, and once it starts boiling, you boil it for 2.5 minutes. Take it off the stove, set it on a cooling rack or whatever. Then add your peanut butter, add your vanilla because it's still going to be hot. Stir that in real good to mix it, combine it. Then make sure that you have an 8x8 baking dish completely ready to go because it will start setting up in your pan if you don't. Pour it into your 8x8 baking dish. As it starts to cool, it will set up. Then you can cut it and you can eat it. This is still a little warm on the bottom yet, but it's ready to go. That's as simple as that. Just make sure that you don't cook the peanut butter and the vanilla with it. You just cook the sugar and the milk at first. That's all you do. You boil them two together. And then you add the milk, then you add the peanut butter, and then you add the vanilla. You stir that in off the stove. You take it off your burner to completely off. I put it on my cooling rack to set it here so it wouldn't conflict with the stove because you gotta have your burner completely shut off. Remove it from the stove. Set it on a cooling rack or whatever. Add your vanilla, add your peanut butter, stir it very well, and make sure that you have a big enough pan because if you get it on you, it's going to burn. And they say once you get it on your cupboards and stuff, it's not going to clean off very well. It's very sticky. So make sure you don't burn yourself trying to make this. Have a big enough pan to cook it in, and have your 8x8 baking dish ready to go with parchment paper or grease it or whatever you're going to do. And once you start putting this in here, you've got to pour it in fast because it starts setting up in your pan. Before I could even get the spatula in here, it started setting up. That's how fast it sets up. So it goes relatively quickly. So you can eat it in just a few minutes' time. From the time you make it till you start making it till it's finished. A few minutes' time. No more than 5-10 minutes you can eat it. This is amazing. You know, you don't have to heat your stove up with an oven. You just cook the milk and the sugar on the stove, and that's all you need to cook. And just add the peanut butter and vanilla to it, and put it in your pan when it's done, and it'll set up. See how this is set up? Look at that. See how it's set up? It won't fall out. See, it's set up. And I took a piece out of here. You can see it's got a good thickness to it. See, and it works real well. Yes, I use coconut oil, and I'll show you the oil that I used. This is the one I bought at Walmart. This is naturally refined organic. This is the one I have. It's best to use refined. because the unrefined, we know, has that coconut taste. When they're refined, they take all the coconut taste out. But I like using this in my recipes for greasing my pans, my skillets, or what have you, because it seems to work much better. However, in a recipe that you use coconut oil, you got to be very careful because it does have a melting point too, and it melts quite fast. So if you make something that has coconut oil in it, you got to make sure to get it refrigerated. Now this doesn't have coconut oil; it's just in the pan itself, but it does melt pretty fast. But it's simple. If you like making simple things, you can make this real easy, and I'm sure that you're going to enjoy making it. You're going to have fun making it because it doesn't take long at all. It goes real fast. And like I said, from the time you start until you finish, it's probably no more than 10 minutes at the most. And look how good it looks. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm not sure what that is, but I never have. So I got an idea what that is, but if somebody could enlighten me what CBD is, because I've never, if it has to do with cannabis, no, I won't do anything with cannabis. So I don't know. I don't eat that. Don't use cannabis. I don't cook with it or anything. I'm a healthy person and I want to stay that way because you know something? I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling a lot better about myself. I like the way I look. I've lost a lot of weight in my face. I've lost it around my midline, and I can tell it. Things are fitting a lot better, and I'm glad of that. You probably could. You probably could. You could make it chocolate fudge if you want to. I don't see why not. Like I said, no recipe is set in stone. You make it your own. That's what I did. This was not a vegan recipe to start with. I made it vegan by leaving out the dairy milk and leaving out the refined sugar and putting in cane sugar and using almond milk. That's how I made it non-dairy. You can do that. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't use that, but if you want to use that, you probably could. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I don't even use that. I've never have used it. I'm glad you explained that. Thank you. I thought it had something to do with cannabis, but I don't use any of that. But thank you for explaining that. But I like coming in here and I like making things because I like to make things simple. I don't like to spend hours upon hours in my kitchen making stuff because, especially in the summer when it's hot, it just heats your kitchen up. I like to get it made and sit down and relax. And since I've made this and I've tried one, I ate it in front of you, it is absolutely delicious. I love peanut butter anyway. I have it every morning for breakfast on toast. That's how much I love it. And I knew that if I made this peanut butter fudge, if it was good enough, I'm going to keep on making it. Peanut butter isn't all that expensive. It only takes a cup of it. Just keep it on hand. I start running out, then I go buy some more. And I'll have to get there this week anyway. But it's simple. And I'm going to post it up on my Facebook group. Yes, it would. I was just thinking of that. Yes, it would be a great gift. Absolutely. It's a gift that people would appreciate. Well, you can do what you want. I don't really want anything that has to do with cannabis in any form. I don't care what it is. I'm not gonna deal with it because I'm a vegan and I'm a Christian and I don't believe in that stuff. So anyway, but you were right. It would make a great gift. That is a good thought. You could probably, make it and cut them up into pieces and put them into something and give them as gifts. That'd make a good Christmas gift. And that is ideal. I never thought about that. However, I know what my family wants. They usually they want money or something like that. So you too. You have a great day. But it does make a nice gift if you're thinking about what to get your family members or what to get somebody for Christmas, and if they love peanut butter, I absolutely would make it and give it to them as a gift. They would probably very much appreciate it. Very much. I never thought about that, but you're right. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Absolutely. That would work. Absolutely would. It really would. wrap it up as Christmas gifts. I mean, I agree. It looks like I'm having some pretty good time today. Well, you like? Yes, I do too. I like coconut as well. I have seen some of the peanut butter fudges that called for coconut butter. And I wondered, well, how do you make coconut butter? Well, that's simple. You just take like a flaked coconut, unsweetened flaked coconut, and put it in your food processor or Vitamix and make butter out of it. I would say yes, it can be frozen. Just about anything you make can be frozen. There would be no problem with that. Just make sure it's in a freezable container. It would keep much better that way. Yes, it can be frozen. I may just do that with this. Yes, it can be frozen. Just about, like I said, about anything you make. Now, I've got some soup that I made a couple weeks ago. It's still in the freezer yet. I keep tempting to get it out so I can thaw it out so I can have it for lunch, but I keep forgetting it. You're welcome. So as long as it's in the freezer, it's not hurting anything. I'll probably get it out tomorrow morning so I can start thawing it out and have it for lunch. Because I made it in a big pot, and I couldn't eat it all, so I froze it up. You have had an animal in the freezer for a year. Oh yeah, you about have to freeze everything, especially if you're not going to eat it right away, because you don't want it spoiling on you. And that's probably what I'll do with this. I'll freeze it up too. I'll put it in a glass. Now, most of my containers that I use for freezer or refrigerator are glass containers. It's much better than your plastic, unless your plastic is BPA free. You have to be very careful with that. Yes, it is. Right. If you have plastic containers, make sure they're BPA free. If they're not, do not buy them. I would rather store all my foods in the freezer or in the refrigerator in glass containers. Yes, right. I made some ketchup a while back too. Yes, you can take ketchup and make your own ketchup and freeze it. It's very good, and use it for sandwiches or whatever. And it actually tastes better than what you buy in the store. I haven't made it but only one time, so I'll have to go back and make that again. But it's freezable because I make too much and you have to freeze it up because you can't get it used because it'll spoil. But it's so good too. But feel free to make this recipe. Put it in the freezer. Put it in gifts for Christmas or whatever you want to use them for. I'm sure that they are going to be very much appreciated. You'll have whatever I'm making. It's the thought that counts. And if people appreciate a gift that's made from food, they're not going to worry about it one bit because it's something that they don't have to fix for their family. I'm not going to freeze it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up into pieces, put it in a container and cut it up into pieces, and I will post it on Facebook that way. Nobody's going to know whether I froze it or not. It can be frozen, yes, but I want to post it today, so I'll just cut this up when I get off of here, put it in a container, and then take a picture of it and post it up on my Facebook group with the recipe. And I will tell them that you can freeze it if you choose to. It's not in the recipe, but I would say by all means freeze it if you're not going to use it right away, because you'll have it that way. Hi. Yes, this is. I already had a piece of it, as you can see. It's very good. It's still a little warm on the bottom. But this, as it cools, it gets real hard. It sets up. And you don't have to bake it or anything. You just cook your sugar and your milk on the stove. And after it's boiled for 2.5 minutes, then you take it off the stove, put your 1 cup of peanut butter in it and your teaspoon of vanilla. Stir them in real good. Then make sure you have your 8 by 8 inch dish ready to go. Pour it in there because it'll set up in your pan. Thank you so much. And before you pour this in, before you even start making it, make sure that your dish is ready to go, because if you don't and you start to grease it while it's in your pan, it's going to start setting up in your pan. You're not going to get it out. So you have to get it into your dish rather quickly. They say an 8 by 8. I grease this with coconut oil, and this is the coconut oil I use for those just coming on. This is organic, naturally refined coconut oil. I use that because it works. I use that for my recipes, whether I'm frying something or I'm putting it in recipes. I use it because it's very good coconut oil. As I had some grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch, and I used this coconut oil to put in the skillet. Really good, but I highly recommend it. I would recommend coconut oil over olive oil for doing it in your pan. Okay, it calls for 2 cups of sugar, but since I made it vegan, I use cane sugar. Now, if you're not vegan, you'll probably use the regular sugar. They called for a 1/2 cup of milk. I used non-dairy almond milk. What you do is you take your 2 cups of sugar, whether it's cane sugar or regular sugar. I don't use refined sugar anymore. I use cane sugar or coconut sugar, either one. Put it in your pot with your milk, 1/2 cup of milk. Cook it on the stove, get it boiling. Once it boils, do not shut it off for 2.5 minutes. You time it for 2.5 minutes. Keep stirring it. Once it is 2.5 minutes is up, your timer should go off. Take it off the stove, put it on a pan or a thing like this, a cooling rack. Put your 1 cup of peanut butter, stir your cup of peanut butter in it and your vanilla in it. Get it as smooth as you can. Get it so it's all mixed in. Make sure you work at it pretty fast. And have your pan greased, ready to go. You don't want to grease it after you make your peanut butter fudge because it'll stick in your pot that you cooked it in and you're not going to get it out. Because this started setting up before you even got it all in here. So you got to work pretty fast and spread it around. And once it's cooled completely and sets up, you can cut it into 1-inch squares, as many squares as you want. Put it in a container, put it in the refrigerator, put it in the freezer, however you want to do it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this up and put it in a container. I'm going to put it in my freezer probably or refrigerator. I'll eat a little bit every day. So I'll put it on my Facebook group. I'm sure you'll like it. They're delicious. I had one and it's so good. It's simple. If you like peanut butter, it's so versatile. There's so many things you can make out of peanut butter nowadays. It's so versatile. And if you love peanut butter, of course, if you got peanut butter allergies, then that's going to be a problem. And there was somebody come on earlier said that they can't have peanut butter, and I understand that. I don't know what they can use in place of it because you can take cocoa powder or something and make a chocolate fudge or whatever. Do the same thing. Make chocolate and put that in, and you could do that instead of peanut butter. Because I know those ones that have an allergy to it, they're not going to be able to eat it because they're going to get deathly sick. Because we have people at our church that can't have peanut butter, so we have to mark things at church. If it has nuts in it or has any kind of peanut butter or anything in it that they can't have, we have to mark it so they won't touch it because you don't want to make them deathly sick. So I understand that. So those people like that will have to make something else or just, forego it. It's a shame that they are, allergic to it, but it happens, and something, it can't be helped. Like I said, when I was a child, I was allergic to chocolate. Of course, I don't eat chocolate now, but I'm not allergic to it now, thank goodness. But when I was younger, I was very much allergic to it. It was very harmful to me. But welcome back, Benita. But this is so simple to make that anybody, even a little child, can make it because it's easy enough. A child can help you, can show the child how to do it, stand over them with, and make sure that they're stirring it all the time. And you'll enjoy eating it. I know I ate that one piece and it was so good. It was mouth-watering, and I'm certainly not going to eat any more today. I just want to get this cut up, get it put in a container so I can post it up on my group so people can see how I made it. They can make it themselves. But like I said, I would suggest you keep it maybe in the refrigerator or freezer because it probably won't keep too long at room temperature. You don't want it molding on you, so it's best to store it the best way you can in an airtight container, in the freezer or refrigerator, and eat it little by little, and you'll get it gone. Once you have a family, it'll go faster than me because it's just me. Now, if I'd have had this made for Thanksgiving, I could have taken it to my daughter-in-law's and we could have eaten it then. But, I didn't have this recipe thought of then, so I couldn't do that. But anyway, I want to thank you all for coming in here. I think I'm going to go now because I've got a few dishes I have to clean up again, as usual. I'm not sure what I'm going to be making tomorrow. I'll have to look for something. But I hope to come back on again tomorrow and make something new. So be looking for that. So in the meantime, I hope your night goes well. You have a good night's rest. And until we meet again, take care. God bless. Love you all. And bye-bye.